After about 10 minutes of toiling, I finally got it loose. It was on there really good. So what I did was I wedged it with a plastic squeegee or pry tool, like one of those for cell phone screen repairs. And once I got a little opening, then I stuck a flathead screwdriver and I lightly started twisting. So I wedged it and started twisting to pry it loose, and then eventually it was like that. There was enough gap, and I just used my fingers to move it out. And there's no damage to the seal. I mean, this isn't the main seal anyway. This is like the dust cover or whatever. Now I'm going to break this apart to get the rest of the internals out.
Later.
So as you can see there, the washer that is on top of the spring, it's cocked. One side is really high and one side is really low, and now I can't get it out. I can't get the spring out and to remove the the internals. Now, all I did was I used this tool that Rally Raid provided to push down on it in order to remove this retention clip that was in there before, like a collar. I didn't even use the jig or the drill bit. I was able to remove it by just pushing down on it. But when I pushed down on it so that it would give me room to remove that clip, as a result, that washer got stuck, and now I can't get it out. Right now I have the spring, the long spring that's inside, I have it wedged with this. That way I can move this freely so that I can try to pry this off without damaging the tube. But they said that this is the easiest part, the right leg. It turns out that the left leg was much easier. So I don't know, I guess this is just my luck. But yeah, so now I'm struggling. I tried heating it up to make it maybe expand a little bit. I tried, as you can see there's some scratches on the washer, nothing deep to remove it, but I can't pry it off because the spring inside, as you can see, it has rounded edges. So my my flat screwdriver would just slip right off. Yeah, this is becoming a long job. This could have been a lot easier if this didn't get stuck. So after fussing with the right fork, I really couldn't get the washer out. So I took the Dremel, and as you can see here, I scored a few times on each side in order for it to warp and bend, and only then was I able to remove it. But as you can also see, I did not go through the washer, which means that the fork was completely safe. I did not damage the fork. I did, however, damage the smaller spring, and then to get all this the dust from using the Dremel, I used brake clean to clean out the fork completely internally. As for the shaft here, I kind of scuffed it somewhere. Well, anyway, it's inconsequential. Not only am I not going to use this anymore, the only thing I ended up damaging were these two parts. That's it. And I managed to get it out. Again, I was just unlucky. This wasn't a Rally Raid issue or installation issue or anything like that. Yeah, I just got unlucky that this was it was this way. It was cocked this way, and it got stuck, and I couldn't get it out anymore. So, not that I'm going back to stock springs or stock suspension, but if I were to, these are the only two parts that are damaged. The tube is completely safe. This shaft is completely safe. The long spring obviously is below this, so it's completely safe. It's completely good. No damage to that one. And so I finally finished installing the front suspension. As you can see there, the fork cap is now the Rally Raid, and I have the gold part of the tube peaking about 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter, equally on both sides. There. And it's already dark out, but as you can see, I took it for a test drive just now, and it rained all day yesterday and this morning. But when I took it out, took it a little off-road, I can't believe how much better the suspension is. Right there, just to show. It's pretty muddy. Yeah, the suspension is really, really good. I can't believe how stable it feels now. You know, when I heard all those reviews on YouTube, here just to show that the mud's still fresh, it's still soft. All those reviews on YouTube, you know, a lot of times people will hype up whatever they buy because, you know, they don't want to feel that buyer's remorse. They want their purchase, especially as expensive as this, to be validated, and so they hype up a lot
whatever it is that they bought. And this Rally Raid suspension, I have not heard a single negative thing said about it yet. Only positive things. And I thought that, you know, I had reservations for it. Like, I thought that maybe it's just being hyped like everything else that you see, you know, a lot of expensive products that are bought and YouTubers will just hype it up. But I will say right now, and I swear this is not me trying to justify, you know, $1,700. It's really good. It's so good. It's not bouncy anymore. It feels so planted, and it's stable. And when it hits any kind of bump, you feel it soak the bump instead of bouncing. There's a YouTube channel, Mad TV. They call it a pogo stick. You know, it's very bouncy and all that. They're not lying. That's actually how it is, the stock suspension. But now it's not like that at all. It feels very, very stable. As you can see, it's very muddy outside. But when I took it on the dirt and I ripped it around, again, in the pitch dark, mind you, the only thing I had going for me was feeling my balance, just stabilizing from my core. That's the only thing I had going. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't really see the ruts, so I took a little dive in a bigger rut. And the only reason why I was able to keep the bike upright is because the suspension didn't buck me off the seat or didn't rebound too quickly with no dampening. Yeah, so really, really stable. Those of you who own know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who are on the fence, you know, if you've had other vehicles, bikes or cars with that kind of suspension, you'll know what I'm talking about. And speaking of upright, if you look here, that's on the kickstand, and my phone is perfectly level with the ground right now because on the display there's a like a bubble level on my camera, so it's perfectly level. But as you can, it's perfectly parallel to the ground. But as you can see, the bike is pretty much upright. Let's see here. Let's try to look at it from the rear. Look at that. Okay, that's parallel to the ground. Look at the bike. Yeah, right there. It's leaning maybe 1 degree or half a degree. So when Rally Raid says that they recommend changing out the kickstand, they're not exaggerating. They're not just trying to sell you another $100 worth of parts. It's actually necessary. I will not be able to take my bike out anywhere until I do that because I will never be able to park it. There's no center stand. I have to rely on a kickstand, and I can't, you know, if it's too short, you can just stack stuff under it, but if it's too long, there's nothing you can do about it. I have to change that out. So that's another thing that I had to buy. What else was I gonna say? Oh yes. So the rear suspension, beautiful. I did not have to change the hydraulic preload adjuster. The way it came, based on what I entered in the little questionnaire, how much I weigh, all that stuff, it's already dialed in. These are at the lowest. The preload adjustment is at the lowest, and it's fine. I want to test it some more before I tinker with that. Now there are a few tips and tricks that I would like to give for those looking to install this suspension, and this is probably my only criticism with Rally Raid. When you watch their video, right, there are 2 videos for the front forks installation that you can follow that will really kind of guide you and walk you through the entire installation. I will say that both of those videos, because they change the fork seals and the dust cover, so the rubber part that's outside and the rubber part that's inside, because they change those, they show you removing those. So because I watched those videos and without thinking about it, just following them step by step, I actually found out, because I'm using the stock ones, I'm keeping the stock ones right there, it's the same black one, because I kept it, there was really no need for me to remove it. So I wish they had mentioned that in the video, the Rally Raid video especially. I know they're trying to sell those parts. Each one is like 55 or 65 bucks, right? I wish they said that that was optional, because if you want to keep your stock one, there's no need to remove or tinker with that at all. So I removed mine following the video, risking damaging those seals and potentially getting a leak. So I'm pretty annoyed by that. I wish they had mentioned that, you know, oh, if you plan to keep your stock fork seals, there's no need to remove it. All you have to do is just take this off for the left leg, crack the bottom bolt with a crush washer, and then drain the oil from the top, and then, you know, do the whole step. There's no need to separate the fork, the silver tube and the gold tube. There's absolutely no need for it. We'll see if it leaks. If it leaks, then I will end up having to buy those what is it, the FSK or whatever fork seals that they sell. Again, I wish they had mentioned that in their video, that if you want to keep the stock one, there's no need to separate the front suspension, the forks, the silver and the gold tube. So that's my only criticism for Rally Raid. There's no need to change them. I agree that their fork seals are softer and rubbery and probably seals better and performs better. I don't know. I don't even know how to measure that kind of performance. And I agree that the stock ones are like hard plastic, almost. That is also true. But there's absolutely no need to replace those unless you have a leak. Overall, the installation of the rear shock, I'd give it, in terms of difficulty, I'd give that like a 2.5 out of 10. It's very easy. The front is also very easy, just time consuming. I would give this a difficulty of 5 out of 10. It's just in the middle. The hardest part, honestly, besides the right fork, that thing getting stuck, the hardest part was lighting up this thing over here, and because I'm a little OCD, so I had to be exact. And also installing the wheel back on. Another pro tip here I'll give. So if you have a one of these T-handle Allen wrench, it really helps. So you see here, the shaft, the front shaft has a hole. To fish it through, it'll hit this, right? The hub, or I don't know what this is called, the hub part of the shock. It helps if you put this here, and that way you have an idea when it's straight while you're pushing on the other side. And then you're kind of using this to raise it up and down, to left and right, to line it up with a hole. And once it's lined up, all you have to do on the other side is just kind of tap it so that the this part goes into here, half of it goes into there, and then you can start it by turning your what is it, 14 or 15 millimeter? I think it's one of them. You start turning it, and then finally the threads will catch. So yeah, that's another pro tip I want to give, using a T-handle to kind of fish out the shaft. That's it. Very happy with the bike. Can't wait to rip it around and go somewhere far and go on a mini adventure finally. Thanks for watching, guys.